The beautiful thing about gaming is that there's no wrong way to go about doing it. Some people prefer the traditional console to TV method, which is generally the most common way of gaming. There's some who prefer building a PC from scratch and, using the latest hardware out, which is pretty nice. Some people like to play on the Apple Mac. Let me retract my statement. There's almost no wrong way to go about gaming, and arguably one of the most convenient ways to do so is by the way of a handheld device. Now, the whole portable handheld gaming scene kind of surprised me in like the past few years. I mean, I was pretty accustomed to seeing only really Nintendo having the upper hand in the modern handheld market since, they were pretty known for it, but out of nowhere, after years of begging for a Half-Life 3, Valve just said, "Fuck that. Hold this mini PC and like it." And it is fantastic. The Steam Deck and hell, really every variant similar to the handheld that's come out recently are pretty dope devices that really puts into perspective how far we've come on this side of gaming. We've gone from having Game Boy Colors, playing 8-bit classics, to having day one releases of AAA titles on these handhelds that look amazing. On most of them. But with all this evolution in pocket gaming at our disposal, one thing that's definitely changed in the past few decades is the amount of technology crammed into these, little bundles of fun we call the handheld devices. Like I just said, the Steam Deck is literally a miniature PC on par with a desktop, so you can bet that the inside of that thing is more complex than a calculus problem. And because of that, it's led to a lot of these manufacturers making the devices a lot less amateur friendly as far as, being able to openly replace the parts and do simple fixes without needing extra tools or help. Like, for example, take this PSP right here. This handheld had a pretty easy opening bay, which you can easily find the battery. Where the hell's my battery? But compare that to the original release Nintendo Switch console on the other hand, and you had to jump through a plethora of hoops to replace that battery, which was inevitably met with a plethora of complaints from the average user who doesn't have a special toolkit on deck to, handle these type of problems. Well, it seems that this issue has gone on for a little too long now because the EU government is cracking down on this issue and are forcing game developers to be more consumer friendly with their handhelds. A new regulation was just passed recently that states handheld devices will be required to have easy to access replaceable battery parts starting in 2027. They claim that this is being done to tackle sustainability rules for batteries and waste batteries that will regulate the entire life cycle of batteries. How many times am I going to say batteries? From production to reuse and recycling, and ensure that they are safe, sustainable, and competitive. Now, it may seem easy to kind of, write this off since it's not going to go into effect until 2027. I mean, the world might run an end before that. We're in the final days, but it's still a good regulation nonetheless. These devices are some of the most convenient things for gaming out there, except they're not always convenient when it comes to accessing their internal parts. So the EU looking out to save people from doing a possible YouTube search for fixing a device that you probably won't even be able to follow along with is a nice move on their part. However, the only concerning thing I found about this regulation is that they claim this is for gaming devices with batteries like the, Asus ROG Ally or the Steam Deck, but not much further detail than that, so it could possibly get left up to interpretation to what they mean and possibly be exploited by the manufacturer. Hold on. I'm sorry, man. Why would I take the battery out? Where would I put it? It goes without saying that the current handhelds on the market aren't going to be affected by this rule though. Even after the regulation is in effect, these devices won't have to change their design makeup since, they're already out there, but any new devices from these same companies will have to follow the regulations after 2027. So it's interesting news for the EU that most likely will get passed to the US soon after its implementation. I mean, why would they just, make separate consoles for the EU and, for US? But hopefully the transition is smooth and we can continue to have a great experience with the handheld devices of our generation. So what do you guys think about the handhelds, man? Feel free to comment down below. And as always, if you like one of the videos, subscribe, check out the Patreon if you're interested. And I'll see you on the next one.